What's happening, folks? We talked for way too long in the last episode, so this is some bonus bollocks for you to inject into your eye holes.
Ear holes.
Ear sockets. Ocular
Is that
balls. Ocular balls?
If only,
is that a
if
thing?
only we could inject it straight into your bloodstream.
Yeah. But that would be an illegal drug.
You just go...
Yeah,
oh,
bang.
That's a good episode. It was like, it's almost, you don't even need to listen to it. It's just streamed into your consciousness.
Yeah.
Of those 40 minutes are now in your brain.
Like the Matrix when he learns to use weapons. Just like that. Downloading podcast. Bang. I've experienced that podcast in a second. But then, you know, what would you do with the rest of your day, folks?
You'd listen to another one.
Went out yesterday.
Yeah.
On the Uña Wheelia. All right.
Oh yeah. Oh, is that the Spanish for one wheel again? It changed from yesterday.
Yeah, it might be like Catalonian Spanish.
Is that Portuguese?
Yeah, Portuguese. Yeah. Was I don't know what to think of this. So on the one wheel coming back. First off, anybody who has a dog. Right, there's a lot of stuff we complain about in this world, but people whose dogs and they don't pick up after them.
Oh, that's got even worse since lockdown.
I know, because
I don't know why.
Yesterday happened again, rode over dog shit on the one wheel. Luckily I caught it like as it happened, but it was like it was in a path, like an actual walking path. I went around, like there was some people walking towards. I went around them. As I went around them, I had no option, because as I went around, I was like, oh, got straight over it. I was like, what is wrong with people? So I was able to stop like immediately and then get that shit wiped off in the seawater, because it just hit the tire, and I was lucky because I wasn't running a fender, so I would have been literally had dog eggs up my leg. So I'm coming back down, cruising back
dog
down.
Paste.
Yeah, and this guy and this girl stopped me, and they're like, "Is that a one wheel?" And I was like, "Yep." And they're like, "Oh, cool, we have a one wheel." And I was like, "Oh, really?" And then we got chatting. Right, one wheel, just some one wheel banter, and he was like, "Which one's that?" And I was like, "That's a pint." He's like, "Oh, awesome, we have the XR and the Plus. I've never actually seen a pint. Can I have a go on it?" And I was just like, "Yeah, of course, crack on." And then he hopped on it and just whizzed off down the promenade, and I was like, "Oh, it could be gone. That could be the last I see of that." This could
Did you have his girlfriend though?
She was standing. She was standing there with the dog.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
She was standing there with
the
her
dog's
dog.
neck going, "You better come back."
But it was just this moment where I thought, that. I mean, I just totally went with him because he said a few keywords, and I was. I've never let anyone ride it, but I just believed it. Anyway, he was totally solid and came back with it, and you could see he could ride it. And then we were chatting away, and he's like, "Oh man, we've got a club here in Northern Ireland, a one wheel club." And I was like,
"That sounds like organised fun. That sounds like something likes."
He was like, "You should join the Facebook page and come out with us. We can all go for a ride together." And I was like, I'm not sure if that's something I'll do or not.
Is this delving into model train territory?
Well, this is the point, all right? Does it lose its cool? Like, does one wheel lose its cool when there's a group of middle-aged men all in a...
Oh, how old were these two?
Like, these people were like older than me. I mean, like late
what, like my
late
age?
30s, I'd say. Yeah, like your age, yeah. Late 30s.
Oh, God. Okay.
So, really, I'm like, does that... I just, I was like, oh, yeah, cool, man. What's the Facebook page called? And he's like, oh, check it. I mean, I looked, but I couldn't find it because it's Facebook, and it's like, that's Facebook. But I was like, interesting, yeah. And I was one-wheeling home thinking, is that really what it's about? Because what was really interesting is they were just purely, like, these two were just really one-wheel people. Like, they didn't come from it from a YouTube side of it. They were just, it was like they'd found it through a whole other avenue, like through snowboarding and kite surfing and stuff, and they'd been to Americans. It was like whole other, and they were out riding it because they...
So they don't make videos or anything?
No,
they just...
No. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. They found it through a completely different way. But they were just like, they love just cruising on one wheel as a group, and like it's all about the one wheel journey. And it was like the first time I was at... Just hold on, my ears have just stopped working. Oh my goodness, just ringing in my ears. I just thought, that's an interesting one. Is that, cruising around on the one wheel or a group of other people, just being one wheelie, talking about one wheeling.
Is there a point, like, because when you're younger, like as in kiddie age,
Yeah.
and your parents kind of go, do you want to join the local football club, tennis club, whatever? They try and get you to go and integrate with other children and do sport. Generally, it's sports.
Yeah.
But then I think I went to a local skateboard club or whatever the hell it is.
A skateboard club. Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, it was not a club. It was like you just go there and then you pay a membership. And then you can go on all the ramps and everything. And obviously it's quite scary being like a little 8-year-old because you've got all the bigger boys in there,
lads.
Just freaking having it.
Yeah.
And you're like, I've got all my pads on.
Yeah.
Because obviously your mum's not going to let you go unless you're, to the hilt in all the safety gear. But anyway, but you can still do that.
Yeah.
And I find that as I got older, like when I sort of went to university for the first time, because obviously through school you're made to do football and rugby, like play for the teams or whatever. And then you get to university, it's like, I don't have to do this stuff anymore. My mum's not telling me to go to a club.
Yeah.
The university goes, there, you can play rugby and cricket here if you want. If not, you can just go and get tanked at all the uni bars. Up to you.
Yeah. Can I go watch music?
I'll get tanked at the uni bars then.
Result.
And so, you're not like forced into doing this club thing. And then I haven't like done a club thing for like years. Like even now, I'm like, but I suppose the closest I've got is like the gym, and I've been threatening to go to the climbing wall down the down the road.
I know, I've been through that
I do like
process
climbing
as well. Yeah,
and it's just like there's part of me now. I was like, I do kind of want to be part of a community in it, but at the other time, I'm like, I hate being part of a community.
I'm totally with you.
I don't even like
here.
living on the same street as my neighbours.
I am so with you here.
And there's part of me going, well, I want a community, but it's a selected community governed by me.
Yeah.
So it's not really a community; it's benevolent dictatorship.
Yeah,
where you all have
much.
fun on my.
I'm so with you on this, because with the climbing wall thing, it's the same. I went to the climbing wall because I was like, this will be really interesting. I'd love to do a bit of climbing, a bit of a workout. I enjoy climbing as well. And I got down there and I thought, this is cool. And the guy's like, yo, are you gonna? And this friend of mine, Manus, showed me around. Very, very cool. He's really into it, really good climber. And he was like, can't wait to, give us a shout, come on back, we'll get you signed up. And I left being like, I would go back if no one else was there. And I sort of feel like with the one wheel thing, like these people were really cool. And what they were saying, I was like, oh, that's amazing that there's a group of like 10 of them or something that like cruise about on electric skateboards and one wheels. And they go off on these like off-road journeys and stuff on it. I mean, they're all on XRs, they can go a bit further. But I thought like, I used to ride the BMX with groups of friends and people
like a club,
and guys used to go, ew, biker mice, and I was like, solid. But that was when I was a kid and we were out tearing about and we were all learning tricks and pushing. But now as an adult, I get a one wheel to escape everything, to just go out, clear my head, and I'm like, I'm not sure I really want to be riding with other people. It's different if it was like you and it was mates, but I because we'd be talking about other stuff. But my issue with that is that I don't want to join a one wheel club where it's about one wheel. And then we talk about one wheel. It's why I don't join camera clubs. It's like I ride the one wheel just to go dick around and have a laugh. I don't want to be riding around going, so how's that average speed going on your one wheel? Oh, it's good. I've upped the tire pressure. I don't actually, guys. I'm just going to go that way. It's like I'd love to come and join you, but at the same time, I just want to be left alone.
It's like when we do band practice and well, at least two of the band are quite geeky when it comes to like recording and gear, whereas the two of us aren't. And the moment they start talking about gear or instruments or anything at band practice, I switch off. I don't care. It's like drums are to be hit. I couldn't give a monkey's what hardware, and I've always been that way. I'm just like, give me a guitar, I'll play. Give me a drum.
Totally.
I'm not really. What thickness strings have you got? I've got strings. They're metal.
They're the ones that came on the guitar.
Which one should I get? You should get these. Okay, absolutely, done.
Yeah.
Do you not want to look at the other ones? No. Do these work? Yeah. Okay. Fine. Brilliant.
No, you're right. It's why I cycle solo. It's like I've never joined a cycling club. I used to ride on the odd occasion with a couple of friends of mine. We go on a bit of a journey and things like that. But for the most part, I cycle by myself because I did go and cycle with a local club here once. Really nice bunch of guys. But they were just like talking about the bike riding. And I'm like, oh my God. They're riding and they go, oh, what bike is that? And I'm like, oh, really? Really? Let's not do this.
Do you ever think that like... Because I think always like when my mum used to put me and my sister into summer camps, like
I used to do this.
You get to school, and it was like you camp, and I'll be honest, like, or when we went on holiday,
sport ones though. We went to for 2 weeks, all sports. kind of
we
stuff.
did, and there were like different classes you could choose, and it was like baseball, everything and anything that you could rifle shooting, all that kind of stuff. And so in one of the ones you could do actually like motorbiking and quad biking, and anyway. So she'd send me to these things, and I'd turn up, and me and my sister were the same. Even on holiday, when you go to holiday camp, so we'd go to south of France, and she'd shove us in that camp. I would hate it for the first, like, let's say we're away for 7 days. I'd hate it for 5 of those days.
Yeah.
Hated everyone there.
Yeah.
Didn't want to be there. Would rather have shoved my head in the sea.
Yeah.
Then last couple of days, I finally get into the swing of things, and
Time to
Mum
go.
couldn't get rid of, like, could not find me and my sister because
Yeah.
we were just having it. And I always think like to that now. It's like I had this massive anxiety, like meeting new groups of people.
Yeah.
I was totally a loner a lot of my life, and I only not a lot, like I always got on with people, but
Still
it's
like
that
that.
kind of but it's that kind of. And,
You
and
don't
I do
care
wonder
anymore,
now. No, not. But then part of me does. I think because there's part like the climbing wall down the road. It's like this. I really want to go and do it, but I'm going to have to go there. Then someone's going to go, "Hello, I'm Dave. I'm going to show you around the climbing wall." I'm like, "Oh,
Yeah. Have you
okay,
climbed before?
fine."
And you're like, if I say no, we're gonna go through this whole thing, aren't we?
Yeah.
So that's where I always go, yeah, all the time, bro.
And then even they're gonna show you around, and then you're gonna speak to Daisy, who's been doing it for ages, and then you're gonna do. And I always feel that sometimes I don't know, maybe I put out a negative kind of attitude, and I don't want to be part of this.
Really?
And I'm like,
Really? Never
and there's
noticed
part of me
it.
going, I want to be involved, but it's such a mental and emotional strain for me
Yeah.
to actually have to deal with new people. Because I'm very like, if I meet someone new, I'll immediately like them, or it'll take me ages to like them,
Yeah.
or I just hate them.
Yeah.
You know, and I don't hate them, I'm just not interested. And I
Yeah.
just find when you go and do this club thing, it's just like, I think, is it an anxiety from when I was younger, where it's like you'd walk in, and the moment you walk in, one of the older kids would go, "Oh, nice skateboard." Not even, it could have been a nice skateboard, it might have been a shit skateboard. It doesn't matter, but your interpretation of it was, wow, they're all dicks here.
Yeah. Yeah. He's basically
And I
gone,
wonder
all right, wanker, as you walked in the door, and you're like, oh.
Essentially, yeah. And you're kind of thinking now when you walk into someone, they're like, "Oh, so have you climbed before?" No, not really. "Have you got the shoes?" No, I've not done it." And they're like, "Oh, okay."
Why'd you
You're
even
like, "Oh, that's
bother?
it."
Why'd you even
Yeah.
bother coming down in your
And
trainers?
obviously, they're just asking questions because
Yeah.
they have to, you
Yeah.
know, with every person for insurance things. But I can't help but think, is it just like, and I find it a real struggle meeting. Like, it takes me a week or so when I get into these situations to like settle into my surroundings.
It's
And
funny that, isn't it? Like,
I really struggle with that.
we're both so similar, but in completely different ways, because I don't have a problem going into situations. Like, I mean, I like to just know what I'm doing. I don't like to be taught. And I think that's because I've grown up doing so many. I mean, I got taught a lot about cricket and hockey when I was a kid,
Yeah.
but then as I got older, I learned to ride bikes and surf and skate and stuff, and that was more like self-expression. And I don't like being taught things. I want to just discover it. So I'm just like, yo, run me through the basics so I don't die.
Yeah.
Is there anything I need to be concerned about? If not, then just let me crack on. It's a wall. So,
Yeah.
but I'm always like, I have so many friends, and I'll do, like, if I'll go take photographs with my friends who take photos, and I'm happy to talk about photography, or I'll go ride road bikes with friends who ride road bikes, or you know, things like that. Surf with friends who surf. Happy to talk about surfing and all that shit. But it's when it's when I feel like I have to go to a new group. And that's why the idea, like, if you were here and we rode one wheels, I have no problem chatting one wheel. But the idea of going to a club and being like, "Hi guys, welcome to One Wheel Club. Today's topic, tire pressure." You know, I mean, I know they're not doing that, but it's that idea that I'm like, "Oh, no thanks. I just want to come out here and dick around." Because I also feel like I'm going to dick around a lot more than you guys. I feel like, you know, like I go on a road bike and people are all very fat, you know, particular about how you ride road bikes, whereas I hop the thing up over bumps and over potholes and skid it and things like that. And then I'm always like, oh, I just want to leave me.
Do you think, because I'm very similar in that way, do you think it's this thing of like, you want to be part of the group, but you want to be the maverick in the group? The loose cannon. The one that's like, I'm part of this group, but I'm always different.
Yes, that. Yeah. Do you know what is a prime example of that? Is I used to always organize all the nights out and trips for all of our mates. It was always up to me. If I didn't organize it, it didn't happen. So I was planning taxis, I was rescheduling times to suit everyone, make sure everyone got out. And then I just kind of got tired of it. So now, if I go out with people, I do not organize. I'm like, you guys sort it out. I'll see you there. And I'm the sort of guy that would just be like, I'll meet you there at 7 o'clock, and I'll find my own way. I'll do my own thing. The minute someone's like, "Are you going to get the bus?" I'll get the bus for you. I'm like, "Oh, please don't. Please don't get the bus for me, because then I'm on your time. I want to operate on my time." And then sometimes in the middle of a night out, I've just been out with friends before, just been like having a drink, and halfway through a pint, just put the pint down, just walk off, and people like assume he must be away at the toilet. I've gone. I'm home.
Yeah.
Don't even
I'm
say
done.
goodbye. I don't even say it because I'm over the whole goodbye thing. You know, you stamp, you go, "I'm actually done," and you go, "You've made a decision that I'm done. I don't want to drink anymore. I'm kind of tired. I've got shit to do tomorrow." And then people go, "Oh, don't go, don't go, oh, don't go." And then there's that thing, and then there's the drunk mate that holds your, that hugs you. "Oh, we're not gonna let you go." So I just go, put my pint down, walk off a second, and Dylan's away. And I get a text an hour later from someone going, "Did you go home?" And I'm like, "Yep. Laters." And they're like, "You bastard." But they know that now.
Yeah.
They come to expect it.
But that's good, because I mean, just totally separate thing. But hellos and goodbyes, I can't stand it. If we could just all continue as if nothing had happened.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is how this podcast worked, because it was just like, it was just a phone call.
It's just a stream of consciousness.
Yes, like we'll be sitting there, and it used at the beginning. It was like, "Hey man, how are you today?" We're over that now. So like, even after this podcast, we still have phone calls throughout the day. We'll be sitting working, and like, I'll just phone Ryan, and he'll just go, as he picks the phone up, I'm like this. "So I'm doing this thing," and it's like, "Yeah," and it's like just like it just carries on. There's no like, "All right," and then at the end of the conversation, because Pamela always says to me, "Holy shit, you hung that up quickly," because I'll be like, "Yeah, no, okay, bye, but I'll see you later." Bang, gone. And he's just like,
it's because there's no, like, with you especially, because you understand this. Because obviously Pamela's got things, you've got kids and stuff, and Yasmin's always in my ear about something, and it's like, "Oh, I've got Yasmin's home, I've got to go," and you're like, "Okay, see ya,
yeah,
we'll speak later,"
and
and that's it. You just end the call. There's none of this, "Oh no, you hang up."
Yeah,
no, you hang up.
When are you gonna ring me back? Tell me when it's finished. Phone me afterwards. It's not just like so I'm gonna get Yasmin's home. Bye, bang.
Yeah.
Over.
Oh, someone's at the door. See you today. And out.